All right, I'm just gonna go live. This is welcome here. This is one platform, and then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna push live now. You get a little bit of the backstage. Oh my gosh! All right, welcome everyone. I am live today, and look, I still have my puppy. She's so cute. Well, I call her my puppy. She's a grown dog, but so Today, I kept hinting at this song last time. I didn't know I was going to do it last time. Welcome back. I am a psychologist. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meier, and I love looking into songs and seeing deeper meanings. Like I was doing my continuing education this week and last week, and so I was reading the basic writings of Carl Jung, and so this is from 1959 or something, but he wrote before that. But see how I just I'm just, I guess you could call it like a nerd, some people would, but I don't like labeling anyone. So but I also love music, and I think that there's so many eternal truths in music, and I talk about it a lot in one of the first ones I started doing live. I'm live on IG, on one of these other platforms, but I don't say it because who knows where this will go. But welcome to whoever shows up here today, live or later, and welcome to you that watch me over whatever platforms I put the sideways version of this. So I was saying in the first one I did, Greece. I think I might have done This Must Be the Place first, the Talking Heads song, and I'm talking about this longing, eternal longing for home, but I quoted this the last few times. This might get us on the same page, is that C.S. Lewis and Tolkien are two of my favorite authors. I spent my whole life studying Lewis, and I worked at the C.S. Lewis Foundation and helped restore his house in Oxford, so it could be a study center and all these different things. But I've had all these opportunities. Looking back, you don't realize what opportunities they really are. But I mean, I appreciated every single one of them. But he said, if I find in myself a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world. And so I was friends with this musician, Elliot, and I made him this mixtape. He's no longer here. He passed away. And I made him, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter it does matter, obviously. Everything matters and doesn't matter at the same time. It's a spiritual paradox. All right. So anyway, but while he was here, while we were speaking and everything and hanging out, we were talking about this longing for the longing for the girl that got away, like a Torch song. So I made him this tape called Girl, and they're all songs about the girl I left behind, the girl that got away, you know. Anyway, so essentially, when we're looking for these higher things, it goes to a really, really deep place in us. I was just reading this book this morning from the 1200s, and I want to be aware of what I share, because some stuff is super, super personal. Hey, welcome. And so I don't always feel like I need to share that. What was she saying? Oh, right. Okay. So when I was getting this song, so this song is called Do You Like Piña Coladas? Right? And it's by, hold on. I wrote in, guys, Rupert Holmes. And he wrote it on an album called Partners in Crime in 1979. All right. And so, this woman, Matilda Magdeburg, here's my book for that. She wrote this book called The Flowing Light of the Godhead, and she's talking about all these different mystical experiences as a Christian. Now, I welcome all people, okay? And so some people, I already know, some people are going to be super offended. Why am I singing this song about, this guy that doesn't even seem to be married to his lovely lady, right? It's common law marriage, and, read Mere Christianity. I think C.S. Lewis is talking about, hey, welcome this couple that, they ought to get married, but if they don't believe in marriage and they're not yet Christians, and they're lying about it or something, then they ought not to do a second bad thing. Or so, I don't know. He explains it really well, a lot better than I am right now. But anyway, we're all called on this high path of holiness, and we all have this longing to be reunited with our highest soul's calling. That's what I was seeing in this morning. She says, okay. So she says, this is part of a deep mystical poem, so I'm just going in the middle of it, but fish cannot drown in the water. The soul is saying this back to the senses. The senses say, you're going to get burned up if you keep looking for this union with God. And she says, fish cannot drown in the water. Birds cannot sink in the air. Gold cannot perish in the refiner's fire. This has God given to all creatures to foster and seek their own nature. How then can I withstand mine? I must to God. My Father through nature, my brother through humanity, my bridegroom through love. His am I forever. Think ye that fire must utterly slay my soul? Nay, love can both fiercely scorch and tenderly love and console. Therefore be not troubled. Ye shall still teach me. When I return, I will need your teaching, for the earth is full of snares. Then the beloved goes to the lover into the secret hiding place of the sinless Godhead, where Jesus said that he took the curse upon himself, the curse that mankind brought. And so it reminds me of that Mozart song, in the Marriage of Figaro, all right? And so it was written, what was it written in Italian? But it's translated in English. So Charlotte Church used to sing it. So I'll try, all right? She goes, it just came to me when she's doing that. Tell me what love is, what can it be? What is this burning, yearning in me? What is this burning, yearning in me? And she goes on, like, I can't escape it. It's in the 5-hour version of Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth sings it, right? I'm getting the chills just from remembering it, right? And she goes, it's just, what is this? It's like, it's this tender torment tinged with delight. That's what all of our longings are, if you know it or not. And so I have a secret on my shirt today that I can't wait to reveal, but all things in good time. Okay, so I printed out 2 versions of this song for us. The regular version is in like piano or something, so I couldn't do that one, and so I got the chords for us. But this other guy said it was in another movie, and so he just did the chords like this. D and A, if you know anything about guitar. But this other guy, right, I think these are men that wrote these. Did these chords. So my plan is to just stitch both of those, and I still want to use this time to to learn my guitar, because that's actually why I started this, is like, I try to double up sometimes. Now, the Zen teachings say only do one thing at a time. So I do practice that as well. But right now is my time on this day that I'm going live. Whenever you see it, trust it. It came to you for a really beautiful reason. Because you have a soul. You are a soul, right? I sometimes show my nails. And anyway, so we're like this sparkly, iridescent substance. We're more than that. You're a soul. You're an eternal soul in this temporary body. I mean, we're going to have a new body, but this body is our vehicle for now. And so anyway, let's get into the song. I think I'll just sing it for us because I couldn't figure out how to play it yet. And then if we get to practice, then I'll practice. If not, I am giving my word to myself to practice another time on top of this time. All right, so if you see this as you looking for this deeper connection with your real self, your soul self, your eternal self that God created, that Jesus left heaven to come and die for, to redeem, so you could live forever in righteousness, which is right wayness, which is just true love, this path of true love. All right, notice how when you quiet on down all those voices outside of yourself that are going for, the bag, like more money or a more beautiful, person next to you. Like, what does that matter? Or better shoes. I have some high-heeled shoes on today. Whatever better shoes means to you, or, a better body, or better, a better church. Some people keep hopping from different denominations. I was at the same one for 20 years. 21 years counting when I was in Montreal. They didn't have regular churches, so or evangelical Bible churches that I grew up with. So I found an Anglican church, and I knew that C.S. Lewis was Anglican, so I thought it was fine. And then anyway, but it's people get all in their ego about all these things. Okay, so here are the basics. You are an eternal soul. You're always longing for love. My dog is just laying there, resting in love. In God, we live and move and have our being. If we could be that trusting with God all the time, everything would go so much better for us. And so some of us settle for less than because we don't know we're worth more. You're worth more. You're worth more. You're worth the highest, not scraps. All right, the highest is from God. So C.S. Lewis says again, and all of this is in the Lord of the Rings. Just read the Lord of the Rings like 4 times, and maybe you'll get this, because I'm always reading it or listening to it. But C.S. Lewis says that when you aim for heaven, you get earth thrown in. If you aim just for earth, you get neither. You get neither. And he says it in a different book. You put first things first, and you get second things and third things. When you put second things first, you don't get the second things or the first things. And Jesus said it this way, if you want to understand how Jesus was conveying this. In the book of Matthew, it's recorded, the first gospel, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, it says, Jesus is saying, right? They recorded Jesus' words. So he's saying these eternal words. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, his right wayness. And then all these other things will be added to you as well. And so we can trust that, just like my cup says, just be mine, and all this stuff will be added. Now, the song is about a man looking for a better lady, and you'll see it's about a lady looking for a better man. But what is that? Was that Eddie Vedder that sang that song? Pearl Jam, right? Can't find a better man. But if I do that song, I would sing that whole song right now for us. Like that probably captures all of this, and I still watch pretty often this this TV show called, I don't like watching any TVs, so sometimes I'll just watch the same show, just like listening to Lord of the Rings. And even in the movie Lord of the Rings, one of the characters in this, I think his name is John Noble, the actor, is in one of the Lord of the Rings. He's in The Return of the King, I think. He would be, because that's when, he might be in the Two Towers too. Yeah, I think he is. He shows up. Anyway, but it's a show called Fringe, Fringe, and I'm never recommending like TV shows for people because one time I was at the silent retreat thing and I just wanted to smash my TV and never have a TV again. And so I think that's the highest of ideals, maybe, but I know that there are a lot of artists and actors that are really, they really are well-meaning and they want to act well and they can convey these truths through the medium of TV and movies and everything. And I've been to Turkey. For 21 days I was in Turkey, and I was in Greece, and I was in Ephesus, where Mary went after the resurrection. The mother of Jesus went. They think with John and Mary Magdalene for like 40 years after, but because they found her house and all these relics and everything from pilgrims for many years. But what was I going to say? Oh, so they showed all these Greek amphitheaters. These old amphitheaters are still there. These big, I sang in one of them. You can see it. Scroll down my Instagram. You can see me singing in one of them. And with this lady on a different trip. I think it was a different one. A second one. Back just to Ephesus. But so they would have their citizens, they would require them to go to a certain number of plays. You have to go so that you see what happens in life acted out in a play, in a drama, in a song, so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. The word sin in Greek is hamartia. It just means to miss the mark, like to miss the mark of perfect love. And it's just like, oh no, you're going over here this time. No, you're going over here. Aim back for this. Come back towards true love. So I never want to shame anyone because shame fuels addictions. But nevertheless, when we're off path, we ought to have people that love us enough, and God will do this to correct us and go, wait, you're way off-roading it, right? You're worth real love, and the people around you are worth real love. So when you keep going off path like this, you're hurting other people around you, and you're choosing things that are less than what your worth is. So anyway, so let me see. Hopefully I'll get in the right tune. I was tired of my lady. I'm going to start the song. I already started it, right? It's called Escape, the Piña Colada song. All right. And so, anyway, I was tired of my lady. We'd been together too long, like a worn out recording of a favorite song. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed, and in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. Hey, if you like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, then I'm the love that you longed for. Come with me and escape. I didn't think about my lady. I know that sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and no, I'm nobody's poet. I thought it wasn't half bad. Yes, I like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food. I am into champagne. I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape at a bar called O'Malley's, where we'll plan our escape. So I waited with high hopes, and she walked in that place. I knew her smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. It was my own lovely lady, and she said, "Ah, it's you." Then we laughed for a moment, and I said, "I never knew that you like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, you're the lady I've looked for. Come with me and escape. If you like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga and you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of a Cape, then I'm the love that you looked for. Write to me and escape. Yes, I like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food. I am into champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, you're the lady I've looked for. Come with me and escape. All right. I don't know if a cappella is like harder or easier, but I'll play some of the chords and I'll show you how I couldn't yet. Now, my guitar teacher texted me today, so we plan to have a lesson tomorrow, and he said I could text him and see if he's free. Like, he doesn't want me to embarrass myself, or, you know, I'm sure I won't embarrass him because I usually don't say his name, but he's a musician, right? And I'm so fortunate. He's a professional musician, and he's wonderful British man, and he's married and has 2 kids, and I mean, I started taking lessons before he had the kids, I think. Yeah. It's been a while, but I only have lessons like once a week and not every week, you know, depending on his schedule and mine. And anyway, so but he said I could contact him and be like, just ask me, I'll help you put together the song before you get on. But if I did that, I would never show up here. And so Jaime was here. This is a hi to Jaime from earlier. All right, so let me play the guitar a little, and then let's go into some lyrical insights, like what Carl Jung was talking about is just this symbolic imagery we get from dreams. And there's this collective unconsciousness. There's the collective consciousness and the collective unconsciousness. Anyway, it's like an iceberg. And so we live in this little tiny part, and there's all of this other rich stuff you can get from the imagination. Here, let me find what he was saying, because he wrote so long ago. I think we can almost quote him, but I mean, we can quote him, but so let me see what I wrote up here. It says he's talking about the teleology, study the end of things. That's a Greek word again, is the aim of something, like the telos of a bike. Let's just say that it's like the true purpose of a thing. But anyway, he was saying there were 4 different parts. Okay, he was saying that there's this thinking, and this is Carl Jung. All right, so just take the good and leave the rest. and he's totally started disagreeing with Freud about 4 or 5 years into their writing correspondence. And he was just like, Freud was trying to make him his protege, and he's like, no, this is way too narrow and reduced. And I know someone that I love very, very dearly that might be related to me, and he just absolutely cannot stand Freud. Now, I have my doctorate in psychology, and we hardly studied him at all. So, and I really do trust and look up to this person that I'm mentioning, and he's deeply spiritual, and he just talks about how Freud reduced things to such like pagan idolatry or something. I don't know how to say it, but anyway. But Carl Jung talks about all of these deeper things. Now, I'm sure Freud did on some levels, but anyway, we're not going into that. Don't worry. So Carl Jung says we have this thinking and feeling, and that's like our rational functions. And then we have sensation and intuition, and he calls that the irrational or perceptive. But it's not irrational. You're not attached and addicted to your mind. Now, a couple other things that were coming to me when I was oops, I don't want to tip this over. I was thinking of doing this book doing this song a couple days ago. And that morning, so in the mornings, we have these readings. If you grew up Anglican, or you know anything about Catholicism or Orthodoxy, even Bob Marley became Ethiopian Orthodox 6 months before he died. He got baptized into the Ethiopian Orthodox Christian Church. Anyway, but we have these readings so that these higher truths don't escape you. You submerge yourself in these. And there's just the richness in these. People just don't even know. They don't know until you, it's kind of like, if I read Arthur O'Shaughnessy's poem, we are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, the way makers, and all of that. It's if I read that every day for 30 days, I would know so much more about that poem and about O'Shaughnessy. And if for this whole month we just stayed with Piña Coladas, right, we would learn so much more. We would find more depths in the song. But you are the depth. You are. And so two things is, one is that day on Monday when I was thinking, what song ought I do this week? And this song kept coming up from last week, is the psalm that morning in our daily reading. So I didn't choose that. It was just part of our daily readings, was Psalm 71. And listen to the verse, right? It goes, deliver me in thy righteousness. He's talking to God. And I can't remember if David wrote this one or not, King David, but deliver me in thy righteousness and cause me to escape. Incline thine ear to me and save me. All right. And so the first verse in that psalms are songs that they're ancient songs that teach us really, really high and deep truths. Just like the Iliad and the Odyssey were written to teach deep truths, so we don't have to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And so I respect different people. God is working on different people in their different religions, and he's highlighting the truth for them so that you can know it and be set free. And this wonderful poet Malcolm Guite, I'm reading his book, Galahad and the Grail, and I even have a puzzle over there that I'm doing. I'm doing this puzzle. I moved it for us because I was going to be tempted to start doing it while it's this puzzle while I was showing up here for you. And I don't want to be doing my puzzle or looking for puzzle pieces. even though we are like that, we are like the puzzle pieces. And so a walk of faith is, you don't know how the puzzle pieces are going to go together. You come and you dare to enter this present moment. Like earlier this week, was it this week? Within the last 7 days, I went to a concert of a musician, and I wasn't going to go. I bought the ticket, but I had to release it to God and go, God, I don't know. You know, this is your life. My life is your life. You know, my love is your love, and your love is my love, and our love is here to stay. It is like that. It really is like that. It's like this. I wear this ring. And so I was, you know, praying, and just one second. Hey, I'm live, but you can go down the stairs and you're not in the thing. Did you hear me? Awesome. But text me so I know. Isn't she cute? I know, her name is Lynn. I didn't tell you ahead of time. I just didn't know if you were going to come down. All right. Okay, so this is how life works. That's what I was just saying, is you don't know. So I was having dinner with that person, my son, and the other day, and I was like, hey, what are your plans? Because I do have this ticket, but I don't have to go. This musician is is coming into our town, and so anyway, it sort of is like that. It's like you can enter into a room. I know this other guy that I've met before, I've talked to and hung out with, and we're friends, on social media platforms, but that was having a concert that same night all the way in Las Vegas, so about 4 hours away from here, singing Bob Marley songs, because he used to sing. I won't say more than that because I don't want to identify him, but he's awesome. He's an amazing singer, and so I would, I was like, I could drive 4 hours and go see him, but I didn't. Anyway, I didn't have to do anything. I kind of wanted to just come home and do my puzzle, but it's important to trust the path that you're on. And you might not know what all the puzzle pieces are saying or where they're leading you to, but it's in the song. Okay, so look, deliver me in thy righteousness. So the first verse in that psalm is, in thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. So fused with. So confusion is con in Spanish is con, like chili con carne is chili with meat, right? Con queso is with cheese. So let me never be put to confusion. Confusion is fused with. Let me never be fused with just these lower things in the world that leave me confused, because we get to live in this world. But it's kind of like someone I saw the other day was wearing the yin and yang symbol, and I just sort of meditated on that. I'm always in some kind of a meditation, but when you look at the word, the Lord, in thee, O Lord, here, this is, you can see it the right way here. In thee, O Lord, have I put my trust. I'll flip this for a second. You can just see my mantle, where the giant TV is. In thee, O Lord, have I put my trust. All right. Let me never be put to confusion. The word Lord there is the I am that I am, the self-existent one. It's the one above the yin and the yang. It's the one that the yin and the yang came out of. Now, yin and yang is like active and passive. If you know the symbol, it's like this black half of a circle with a white dot in it, and a white half of a circle with a black dot. So if you follow it like a mandala or something, like in every darkness there's there's light. In every light, there's some kind of darkness, except for the God. God is above all of the up and the down and the bad and the good, and God calls us to this holiness that's above the yin and the yang, but we get to experience the light and the shadow here. And I'm sure when I get deeper in this, because I need to read at least 9 hours of this for my continuing education, and I wanted to read it anyway. I just saw that they changed the rules that I can count this. The effects of the unconscious upon the conscious, the personal and the collective unconscious. And so when you go into your imaginative side, you tap into some of what people call the shadow, and we're doing it right now. Hey, welcome. Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Here's another musician. And so, like, much better guitar player, but we're not comparing ourselves to other people. But anyway, and so, welcome. And so, we're talking about these eternal truths, and okay, so I don't know if you noticed when I was singing the song, this shirt says O'Malley's, and it's from Salzburg too. And I didn't know why I was going to Salzburg either. I went to Austria at Christmas time, and I got to see the Christmas markets, and I did want to see, we call them like German Christmas markets, but they're Austrian. They just speak German in Austria. So like the German Christmas markets, the Austrian ones where they speak German, all the different, I forget what they call them. I think they just call them Christmas markets. But when I was there, so my son introduced me back to this song, because when I was a kid, I didn't like hearing it. I don't know, maybe they played it all the time, or I didn't know what Piña Coladas were, or I didn't like a song that started with "I was tired of my lady," right? Or like, I don't know, or maybe my parents like just saw it in a little box and wouldn't play it for us or let it play, or I don't know. I did hear it and I liked the tune, but I was like, why do they keep singing about Piña Coladas? Those things, like, I think later on I got to taste one, and it just didn't even, I didn't like that tropical flavor. I mean, except like a daiquiri. But anyway, so my son was playing for it. He's our DJ, and he was playing it, and I was like, I don't know. And so I started listening, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's his own lady. Like, this is all of life. This is such a picture of all of life. So now I love this song so much. And so when I was in Austria, I saw, because sometimes when I'm in foreign countries and I'm so tired of trying to speak that language and I can't anymore, like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien met all the time in an Irish pub. They were the Inklings, and I really, I know other people that have gotten sober and they don't go around places but I was in a church for 20 years that had glasses of wine with our Bible study, and I'm still at a church now that has that. So I don't have a problem. Jesus turned water into wine. I don't have a problem, but I don't ever recommend people, running away from their life in alcohol. But anyway, so I went to this, I saw there's this Irish, is it an Irish pub? O'Malley's, yeah, that sounds Irish, right? And so I went to O'Malley's and got my son a shirt and me in Salzburg. And I never buy t-shirts places, and so I never wear them either. I don't wear t-shirts really, but anyway, I remembered I had this. All right, so let's get into the song more, all right? Because there's so much richness in the song. And so the one other thing is, and so here, the word came in our, it's like word, what's that? It's an Oasis song about a word on the street, right? Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. All right. All the roads that lead us there are winding. That's everything I'm saying so far today. And all the lights that lead the way are blinding. Because we don't know which way. We can't know. Our mind will tell us something. That's why I had to the other day, like, surrender my mind and go, God, of course my feelings are like, I want to go to this or I want to do that. You know, I have my feelings, but my feelings come secondary. What is your path? And then it's like learning how to quiet down your flesh. The church will teach you have 3 enemies here while you're here on your journey here. Look on my journal, there and back again is my journal right now. It's BB Bilbo Baggins. I started it in 2002, but I stopped writing in it because I know why. Because anyway, you can't see the writing very well on the paper that they chose, and so I didn't, and I found, hey, welcome. I found a post-it note in here, and I'm definitely not going to show it, but from my ex-husband when we were married, and I was like, wow, if I had just kept writing in that journal and seen that post-it note, like maybe we would have stayed married. Anyway, it was really interesting to find, but that's maybe part of our experience here in the song. But anyway, so the other thing, so in thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. Let me never be fused with something that's less than you. What was I talking about? Deliver me in thy righteousness, right wayness, your right way of love, and cause me to escape. Incline thine ear unto me, listen to me, and save me. And the word save in Hebrew is Yeshua, is salvation. And I'm not sure, I think it is in this one here, let's look, because I printed it out. That's the word Jesus in Hebrew. So Yasha is the word they use here in verse 3, not in verse 2, in the save me, that's not those sin, but be thou my strong habitation, whereunto I may continually resort. Let me keep coming up to this place that's higher than the yin and the yang, higher than the Lord's name, when it's capital Lord, is the I am that I am. And so that is the self-existing one, the eternal one. Always we can go to that, to the real name of God and the real person of God, and start having a real relationship with the Creator. And it's an escape from all this world. It's like, oh, now my feet can go back on this ground. I came from heaven. Of course, I need to get my instructions from heaven. When Jesus says, when you pray, this is how you ought to pray. This is a mystical way to pray. All right. Now, this prayer encompasses everything you ever need to know, just FYI. But Jesus taught us to pray this way. Our Father, which encompasses mother and father, because Eve came out of Adam. So Adam, it's the creator from which we came from. Now, I could go on for 3 hours talking about this, but our Father, our creator, who art in our divine love, if you will, who art in heaven, and the kingdom of God is within you. And it says in Ephesians 2:10, you are God's poem, you are a song. And so God's arting in you. So it's art in creating the plans of creating us to be here, and he wove us together in our mother's womb, and every hair on our head is counted and numbered, and he knows all of us so intimately. What if God was one of us? If Jesus were right here, I just know Jesus, I mean, not as well as I'd like to know him, but I know him, oops, I stepped on the light. I know him so well that I know that if he, he would know every detail about you, every detail, everything about your whole life, all your sorrows. And he says, come to me and share your sorrows with me. But anyway, so Jesus taught us to pray this way. Yeshua, the one that wanted to save us, right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Holy is your name, because we were made in the image, the icon of God, in the image and likeness of God. Holy is your name. Your name is in every cell of our being. Holy is your name. We are sacred creatures. You have this earthly life made out of the earth and dust, but you have this eternal soul. So it is both. Anyway, who art in heaven, hallowed, holy is your name. Your kingdom come. this kingdom that you have all perfect in heaven, let that come down in my life and be part of my life, and let me express it by the love that I share. Your kingdom come, your will be done on this earth. And we were made out of the earth, remember? As it is in heaven, we were made out of the heavenly substance in the image and likeness of God. Give us this day our daily bread. It's so awesome. I was reflecting this week, I was saying, you first ask God, give me the bread I need. Give me this, it's called super substantial in Greek, the spiritual bread and the physical bread that I need to get by in this life. Give us this day our daily bread. Then you can forgive everyone because you have this eternal love, everlasting love. You have that. He's giving it to you. You ask for that first, and then it's like, now, and forgive me everything, every way I've trespassed against the law of perfect love, because I've hurt other people and I've hurt myself, this person that you created, that you loved, when I walked off this path, and I've hurt other people. So forgive me all the trespasses I have committed, all the debts of love I owe to other people, as I freely forgive. That means just give to God, not excuse. You give to God all of the debts other people owe you, so that he can just give you that love, right? God is beyond he and she. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassers. They're translating it from the Greek. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So in every evil that comes at you, like I had to really curb myself the other day. That's what I was going to say. The church says the three enemies of our soul's eternal purpose, is the world, the flesh, and the devil. All right. And so C.S. Lewis says in Mere Christianity, like the devil would love for you to think that there is no such thing, or he's just this red-horned thing, But the Bible says there is. And Jesus says, I saw him fall, and 1/3 of the angels fell with him. I saw him fall like lightning from heaven. So he was a heavenly creature before. So he'll try to trick you and pretend like his way is higher and better and easier. But it's just like Pinocchio in the book Pinocchio. It's like if he stays too long at that carnival, he'll turn into a jackass. That's what he was turning into, and any of us would. So that's a different word for a donkey. So, and we're not meant to. It's just like in all the Narnia books. We're not meant to go backwards and turn into animals. We're meant to be talking, like the talking animals, not meant. Anyway, so I was reflecting on this. He says, cause me to escape. Be thou my stronghold, my strong habitation, whereunto I may continually resort. Thou hast given a commandment to me, which has to do with our telos, to save me, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Has given commandment to me to save me. Wait, not to me. Thou hast given commandment to save me. That's, if you look at that really deeply, it's God sending his son right there in that verse. Thou hast released this entreaty, this commandment to your son, and he chose on his own will to become the God-man on earth, to leave heaven and redeem us. But anyway, save us. It's the word Yeshua, Jesus' name. But anyway, the word escape, okay, in Hebrew. And then we'll get back. Let's get back to the song, because I don't want to go too long. I don't know where my son went. And he's fine on his own, but if he wants me to eat a meal with him, then I'll go find him. Okay, so the word commandment is sava. You can look that up. To charge, give charge to, lay charge upon. So he did. He gave charge to his son. Thou hast given charge, let's say, to save me. You've made a way for me to be saved, for me to really, truly escape. Where's my escape? Oh, here. To escape. All right. I printed this all out for us, and my printer was working this time. Here's the Hebrew word. No, Hebrew is backwards anyway, so you're probably seeing it. Anyway, they read it this way. Palat. To escape, save, deliver, to slip away, to be delivered, to bring into security, to slip out, that is, escape causatively, to deliver, calf, okay, one of the ways they use it is when a calf is being born. It escapes out of the belly. And C.S. Lewis talks so much about this. In Mere Christianity, there's this whole section on toy. It's so good. I highly recommend it. And you can find it on YouTube under C.S. Lewis Doodles too. It talks about this toy soldier that doesn't want to be turned from this little tin creature into a real boy or a real girl, just like Pinocchio did want. He wanted to be a real boy, not a puppet, not on strings, not a wooden boy, a real one. And so, okay, so I was tired of my, okay, this one says, I was tired of my lady. And then I like bringing in like a secular reference as well, is that, I mean, Carl Jung is sort of a secular one, even though his father was a pastor. And his mom had theologians all the way back for like 3 generations. So he had a background in this. It didn't just come to him out of nowhere. His grandfather studied the mystics, and he got a lot from the early church fathers too. But so Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The Power of Now, when I was reflecting on this song, I kept hearing this part because I listened to it on Audible a lot as well. Oh, I forgot, in the show Fringe, I forgot, there's a quote that I forgot his name. His name is Peter Joshua Jackson is the actor, but he says a lot in the show. J.J. Abrams created the show, but he says, be a better man than your father. All right, so we can't be a better man than our Father in heaven, but our Father on earth. There's a verse that I love, Psalm 27. It's in the song too. Psalm 27:10, I think it is. It says, when my mother and father forsake me, the Lord picks me up. The I am that I am. He picks me up. And I was meditating on a verse like that today from Psalm 73. He picks me up by my right hand. Hey, welcome. And so, Eckhart Tolle, in the book The Power of Now, there's a whole chapter called Enlightened Relationships. Look, I have the person just left. I'm like, I have this shirt. This says O'Malley's on it. It's Salzburg. And that's where Maria von Trapp was from too. So I didn't know why God was having me go, because I never want to just go from my own. But in the book on The Power of Now and Enlightened Relationships, he has a man asking questions and then a woman asking questions, and then Eckhart Tolle's answering. And the woman in the chapter, she says, is there a way to make toxic relationships into an enlightened relationship? And you're just waiting, like, what is the word, bated breath? Let's say. And he's like, yes, in fact, there is. So, we know that as a Christian because that's God's whole story here. It's like Adam and Eve chose something lesser, and then Christ made a way for us to go back to a perfect God. You just say, God, I'm sorry. I've walked off this path of perfect love. Help me. Metanoia is the Greek word for repent, is have a metamorphosis of my perception so I understand what real love is and walk in the true path of love. That's all that's happening. And be my perfect love for me, be my righteousness for me. Christ offered to be that, and also to show us the way, and for us to be the way, and for the light to shine. He said, you are the light of the world. All right, you are, this song says in Ephesians 2:10, you are God's workmanship, but the word in Greek is poema. You are God's poem. Each of us are God's song. That's how I know these songs can transform your life, because we're just looking into the highest version that we can of these songs at the moment. And the artist is expressing from their soul. Usually they're expressing these longings anyway, and they're not even realizing, like Carl Jung is talking, that they're talking about, they're talking from their imaginative self, which is this collective consciousness, is this place that we all want to go. Like I sang that song, take me home, country roads, to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain mama, take me home, down country roads. Or I was roller skating the other day and it came on my shuffle again. Willie Nelson singing Patsy Cline's song. I think with Patsy they had him recording in her already recorded version, but it was like, just a closer walk with thee, granted Jesus is my plea, daily walking. But it says something about take me to that eternal shore, to thy kingdom shore, to thy shore, just a closer walk with thee. And then I have another song with Willie Nelson singing, and I didn't know that these songs would come on. Like, I got this song from a lady that was singing with her band in a bus. She was singing, and then I looked it up, and then I downloaded the song, and it just happened to be with Willie Nelson and Lionel Richie from the Commodores singing. 'Cause I'm easy, easy like a Sunday morning. Oh, I'm easy. And then Willie Nelson's playing his harmonica. It's so beautiful. But anyway, so we're talking about that other place, that kingdom shore that we all want to go to now. You can go there now without dying. You just die to your ego self. That's all. Like, it's not, I say it like it's really easy, but I just like walked for 2 hours this morning on a treadmill at an incline of a 12, and that was not easy. I did not want to get on that, and I didn't even want to start this, but I have these sayings in my head that it's like, it's not, we don't have to change our mood. You just change your mode of operating. Is that my egotism operating? And I learned this from a guy named Kurt Johnson, but anyway, is that my mood telling me what to do, or can I just change into my soul eternal mode and go, wait a second, I have eternal purposes to carry out here. And part of that duty is my son as well. So anyway, I was tired of my lady. We've been together too long, like a worn out recording of a favorite song. And so you can have a favorite song. One of my favorite songs used to be that LL Cool J song, like I Need Love. And then the other day when it was playing, I was so happy it was on my shuffle somehow, like because I listened to it in the 80s, right? And I mean, I'm just saying, if I was here in the 80s, I would have. Anyway, because I'm perpetually 28, so that makes me born in like 95 or 4. I don't know what it is now. Oh, that's later now. Whatever. We have our eternal age and our real age. But anyway, but it's like, no, that song would bring up way too many memories of looking for love in all the wrong places. So I couldn't listen to that whole song the other day, but I was getting this message through it. But and then other people have introduced me to like beautiful songs. Like, I don't know how you could ever have Waterloo Sunset, be a worn out recording of your favorite song. But anyway, you get the feeling. We can get like this with ourselves. Okay, so without picking on the other person, like in Eckhart Tolle's book on the chapter called Enlightened Relationships, yes, he says you can turn a toxic relationship into an enlightened one. Just one person in that relationship has to become conscious. And I was like, oh no, God, like, am I that person? And then he actually showed me in my heart. And so this is an intimate secret, but I think that it's universal, so I can share it. He's like, no, I'm the one. I'm the conscious one in our relationship. And so don't worry. It's not about performance. It's not about measuring up. It's about as I draw near to God. And that was at the end of Psalm 73. It said, it is good for me to draw near to God. It is, because it's just like this poem that was written in an old German dialect that was translated. This woman, it took her 3 years to translate it into English. I must to God. This has God given to all creatures. Okay, so remember, the soul is saying this. Fish cannot drown in water. Birds cannot sink in the air. Gold cannot perish in the refiner's fire. This has God given to all creatures to foster and seek their own nature. This is our real soul nature. But we're so busy running after things and getting hooked into the snares of this world, that we forget. We're not quiet enough to know we have an eternal nature. And the more you align with that, the more, these are like 100 promises of God from God's word. I did a whole video where I read all 100, so you can go listen to those or go to the top of my, on TikTok, you can see it at the top. I still have it pinned. It says like, pray like a warrior. I wrote out all the verses if you just looked at the Hebrew or the Greek in one of those verses, you could go on for like 10 hours understanding the depth of God's love. Like it's so profound. But anyway, I'm still going to trust that it's in the song. So let's go back to the song. Gold cannot perish in the refiner's fire. This has God given to all creatures to foster and seek their own nature. How then can I withstand mine? I must to God, my Father, through nature, my brother, like there's nature, right? Through humanity. Jesus became a human, but he's also fully God, fully human. My bridegroom through love. As the church, we're called the bridegroom of Christ. He loves us. And C.S. Lewis says, I think in Mere Christianity, and maybe in The Problem of Pain, he labors to love us and make us lovable. So there's this thing called C.S. Lewis Doodles on YouTube, and you can look at the 10 soldiers that don't know what it's to be real. But I forgot. I was going to finish that statement. He says, at one time you were like a tadpole type of creature, but you're still made in the image of God. He didn't say I forgot the word for that. But anyway, you're like, just a few cells. The sperm and the egg come together in your mother's womb, and you grow and you get eyes and a heartbeat at like 10 weeks, I think, right? 8 or 10 weeks. You're so beautifully put together and cared for. Even if your parents don't know your worth, like God put us there. And so, when you grow to that 9.5 months or so, or whatever 9 months and whatever change, it felt like 10 months anyway, I won't, anyway, he says, you can't stay there. You have to come out. So like you have to come out and then grow into a boy or a girl. Like you grow into what you are. And so it's like, you might feel safe in that place, but you need to escape even from that place, because we go on to the next level of development. And so it is with life. We can't stay Peter Pan for forever. Now, Jesus says you must be like a child or you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. It means you were meant to activate our intuition and our imagination and not be, an addict to our mind thoughts, because those aren't even your thoughts. A lot of those are just other people's programming. But all right, so he thought he was tired of his lady. Okay, so what I learned about tired psychologically is, okay, so wait, Eckhart Tolle said just one of you has to be conscious. And if the other person keeps staying with the conscious person, then it will raise the level of consciousness in the relationship. And Christ is teaching us this and all through the New Testament. We're learning this because it is the way of love will free you as well and make your relationships more rich. But ultimately, we want this eternal relationship with God. But anyway, I was tired. So I was taught, tired. You get tired when you keep trying. It's like, well, I'll try to get sober tomorrow. Like, that airplane movie is like, looks like I picked the wrong day to quit smoking. Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit drinking. Now, I know it's funny, but it's not funny when people die of addictions and stuff like that. Or when they leave a beautiful person because they didn't go to this next level and find out who she really is, who you really are. Or when they off themselves in this world, you know, because they were tempted by the enemy to believe a lie. Because Jesus said he comes to off us and steal from us and try to destroy us. But in John 10:10, Jesus is recorded as saying this, but I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. All right. And in order to have our life, we must lose our life as we know it. We die to our egotism selves, our present day personality selves, and don't let that be in the driver's seat. And then everything's like so much better. This is the whole Galahad and the Grail, like the whole journey of this, and the whole Hobbit's journey there and back again, right? Anyway, so I was tired. So tired, I was taught psychologically, is when we keep trying something. Oh, I'm trying to lose weight. I kept trying to lose weight. Finally, I found a way that was healthy, that was using no medicines at all, just walking on a treadmill really slowly and increasing the incline. And I don't always walk 2 hours. That just happened to be today because, anyway, I found a way, and then I took off over 60 pounds, right? And then I've been trying to stay within, I've been doing my best, I correct myself, to stay, because you don't want it to be this forever battle within like 5 pounds of that, because I worked so hard to get there with God's help. Everyone, when they're asking me, how did you lose 60 pounds? I'm like, well, I prayed for 20 years for God to help me get that off my body. And then I guess he had to prepare my mind and my heart and my discipline, and whatever, something had to be healed enough for me to know I was worth the effort. So a lot of times we take in our parents, and a lot of them didn't mean to give us these lies, but they taught us by their actions. Like if my dad was always out of town or working, he would teach you, oh, you're worth loving. Here's a lot of things, but you're not worth my presence. You're not worth the effort for me to find out how to be present with you, because actually presence scares me because I'm afraid of intimacy. So it's a lot easier to go work all the time. And then our world will teach us to just stay working. All right. No, I don't want to do that with my son. We didn't talk ahead of time. Anyway. I was tired of my lady. We'd been together too long. Like a worn out recording of a favorite song. And so you can't ever really wear out another person when you know them from the eyes of God, from their, like, I gotta put my, I think, oh, not that. I gotta plug this in. Because because we're eternal souls, the more you connect with the Creator, even, or divine love, if you want to understand love, you'll have this living, it's always dynamic. Like you can't run out of God. And when you know God and God is in you and you know yourself, as Saint Athanasius said, that God became man so man could become God. It's like we're always growing more and more godlike. We can be, or we can follow the enemy and he steals from us. And we go to addictions to numb our pain because we keep thinking we have to do that ourselves. Anyway, so like a worn out recording. And so while she lay there sleeping, now sleeping, the word Buddha means awake. I'm an awakened one, right? If someone says, who are you? And he says, I am Buddha in Sanskrit or something, I think it means awakened. And so we're all meant to be awake. And so while she's laying there sleeping, asleep, I had this woman, Latoya Oki, I had these coaching sessions with her and in a group setting too. And she was just saying, like, quit sleeping on yourself. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, you're sleeping on your gifts and your talents and things God put in you. You're minimizing them. You're not activating them. And I still didn't understand because that phrase wasn't something that was around me and whatever, because I don't watch a lot of TV or whatever. I don't know. It's not. So I couldn't get it. I was like, what does it mean? And so, but I know in all of the mystic books and everything that I've read, you're always, one time, like 5 years ago, I recorded it for 2 hours. I didn't play it for 2 hours, but I think I have an hour I just played it over and over again on my editing thing. That song from Mary Poppins. Stay away, don't go to sleep, though your pillow's soft and deep. You're not sleepy as you see. Stay awake, don't nod and dream. And so that was just from Mary Poppins, but the way that woman that wrote the book, Mary Poppins, she read a lot of esoteric writings and was always talking about how important it is for you to stay awake to your highest state of consciousness, to your highest mind. It's like Christ. I have this verse that Eckhart Tolle was quoting from Christ, and it says, lest he come suddenly and find you asleep. And what I say to you all, stay awake. That's in Mark chapter 13, verse 36 and 37. All right, it's in red. Anyway, welcome. It's nice to see you. And so here's this song. And so while my lady, I'm in this song, Piña Colada. This is just like verse 2, but while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. So she's laying there sleeping. And so that's the part of us that can be asleep to our own self and our own higher calling. We can be asleep to God, not aware of our calling in God. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. So he's searching. This is all of our journeys. He's searching for something more, and we think we're going to find it in this earthly realm. But really, what Jesus was saying and what C.S. Lewis was saying is aim for heaven and you'll get earth thrown in. Aim for earth and you'll get neither. We have to find it in God. And I know these are just words to some of us, because they were to me for so many years. Even years and years of meditating every day with God. It was still just words. And so just ask God, it says it is good for me to draw near to God in Psalm 73. So just ask God, help you draw near to him. It says, those who draw near to him, it says you will be rewarded. All right, so you're rewarded with his presence. But anyway, so I read in the paper in bed, and guess who already beat him to that? The woman. The woman is more intuitive usually. We're more in touch with the spiritual nature of things. So she was already looking first. That's something important in this, all right? So he's reading the paper, and in the personal columns, there was a letter I read. So it's so cool if you think of it, instead of like bashing on the man in the story, right? Like the woman already wrote, she knew she needed something more. Be a better man than your father. But she was looking externally too as well. And so, in that book on enlightened the power of now, the chapter on enlightened relationships, Eckhart Tolle says profoundly that what we try to do oftentimes in relationships is we're trying to get them to, like I've said a lot of times in my therapy too, is like we find people that I put it this way, we find people that are broken down in the same way our parents did. We internalize the parents' definition of our worth, and we try to make it happily ever after with an absent person, just like our parents were absent or whatever was going on, until we healed that with God. And then my mom has this saying that I like, and it's for men and for women, okay? the closer you get to Wellsville, the weller your feller will be. And the other day I was talking to her about, she was talking to me about practicing calm, and she's like, I'm like, the calmer you get, the closer you get to Calmsville, and the calmer your feller will be. It's like you attract what you are, all right? And so keep doing the inner work, because it's always worth it. It's always worth it. Because you're not going to be, someone in like the religious community said, he is a Christian man that does deliverance stuff. So I am not, I just saw the title of this video. I didn't watch it yet or anything, but he's saying, when you get delivered from all your old trauma and your old addictions, and you ask God to clean you out, right? Put me through this refiner's fire that Matilda of Magdeburg was talking about in the 1200s. When you go through that, he's like, the things that you used to be attracted to will repulse you. You'll just absolutely be repulsed by them, and you'll be like, how could I? It's just like when Jesus tells the story of the prodigal son, and the prodigal son dissipated all his father's inheritance, and he was eating with the pigs. You were eating, no, you wanted what the pigs were eating, and the pigs in that day in the Jewish culture, of the people that God chose to reveal himself through, and Jesus was a Jewish man that was revealed through these people, but they're still looking for their Messiah, and anyway, but pigs were unclean animals, and so this guy was wanting to eat, because he was so hungry, he wanted to eat the food he was giving to the unclean animals. That's when we hit bottom, when this relationship hit bottom, that's all. So she was looking externally, but God stepped in, providence, if you want to call it that, and gave them this solution. Like the Parent Trap, when the twins, Haley Mills, the first one, and then Lindsay Lohan, and the other one is, they try to get their parents back together once they find each other miraculously and serendipitously, whatever, however John Cusack says that in the movie, serendipitosity. It's so cute. I love that movie. But anyway, this song is like serendipity. Like they do find each other again, right? Anyway, so she's asking for it externally, and so if you like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain. And so if you like piña coladas, I look at that like Jesus turned water into wine for his first miracle, and like, hey, welcome. And so that's like this joyous occasion. It was at a wedding. His mom asked, hey, they're running out. And so if you like being relaxed and tasting this tropical flavor, you're just being in your senses, and you're being in the now. And so it's definitely, I'm not promoting, people going and getting drunk on piña coladas, because then you're not awake anymore. You're asleep and you're numb, and you're not awake to this beautiful person next to you. And so, but if you like this, if you like tasting this, if you like getting caught in the rain, if you're not afraid of rain getting you wet. I got caught in the rain one time in Montreal, and with this guy that I was interested in, and it was so fun. It was so sweet. It was just so innocent, and we're just running to try to get back to some kind of shelter. But we were in some old ancient area of the town, so it was like ancient buildings, and the rain was just coming, and everything felt alive, and so this woman is writing what she wants, and what she wants is to connect with another live person. She wants to be alive again and vibrant and awake in herself. And she wants to connect with another live, vibrant person. And so that's two conscious people, not in toxic cycles. And we can't be perfect, but I'm always saying, like, the creator, like, is called, it's Saint John, the mystic saint, said God is love. And so the creator will always teach you about the highest form of love if you don't look at it in this tiny box that people will try to, put God in. Now, I'm not, anyway, there are things that are right and wrong. We don't just say, oh, 2 + 2 = 5, there are approximations. A circle looks like this, not like this. That's not a circle anymore. So there are people that just, speculate. I feel like God is like this. And I was like, well, that's not how the real God is. And that's just, our society is so, subjective. They forgot about objective truth. But that's a whole, definitely like a 4-hour conversation. So if you're not into yoga, and so he wrote this in 79. And so yoga is like, it was a whole culture of people that were like, and like, stretching is so good for you. Using your own body weight can help you heal things. But if you build an identity out of, look, I'm spiritual, look, I have this robe on. And so I have both. I have the t-shirt, the O'Malley's t-shirt, the pub t-shirt, and this robe today because I like this robe. And anyway, it was something after I did yoga. I did yoga for a whole year and I went from a size 12 to a size 4 from just doing this power yoga video from it was like a video that was on one of these streaming channels. But and I was going to my Anglican church and I asked my bishop, is it okay to do this? So I totally thought it was fine. Now I haven't done it for like 3 years now, except for once. I decided, maybe it's okay, and then I just didn't go back to it because I've opened a lot of doors, not on purpose, but I've just been deceived on a lot of different paths, and I like being risky, but not I never want to offend the creator because God is love, and it's just a relationship. And anyway, so I got a text, so that might be my son. I better go soon. So they're just saying, if you're not into yoga, if you don't have this fake spiritual identity, like, I'm spiritual because I'm into yoga, I know. And there are a lot of truths that you can understand from stretching, from just exercising, from walking for 2 hours. You're going to learn a lot. I lost 60 pounds from walking. In 6 months, I just kept walking every other day for 2 hours. That was mostly what did it. And intermittent fasting with protein on those days. And I had a trainer that I was working with. And he only charged $150 a month. So God knew, I didn't want to get something super expensive because then I would just be like, what if it doesn't work? And I would have never started, Anyway, I just know myself. Okay, so if you like Piña Colada, and if you're not into yoga and you have half a brain, right? I like that. Even if you think of what Carl Jung was teaching us, if you have half a brain, if you're not always in your head and you're also in your senses and your intuition and your intuitive self and your imaginative self. But if you're also smart enough to know that we're called to be conscious souls here, awake, but then you can get caught in your head and just try to do everything from programming. And that's different. So you want just half a brain. I'm not kidding. You want your full brain, but you want to be able to be like a child. You can watch my other videos with the other songs. I talk about childlikeness, and I can't remember what song. You'd have to go back. But one of those songs, I emphasize that a lot. And there's no way I can. Oh my gosh, if I do that song, take me home tonight. I don't want to let you go till we see the light. G.K. Chesterton said every man in a brothel is looking for God. So I don't know that I've done a whole teaching on that a long time ago, and I offered it to the people who are in charge of that singer's estate, and they declined to let me sell it as a teaching. So anyway, that people don't know what this is. This is a new science right here. Anyway, so and you have if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of a cape, right? If you like being spontaneous and going by the ocean and hearing the sound of the ocean, and you can we can be married, I recommend that. And keep things alive and be in this union. It's that kind of union is the physical intimacy. Hey, welcome. That represents the union we have with God as well. And so the marriage is also meant to be a representation, like an icon of the marriage we have, our souls with God, and Christ is called like the bridegroom of the church. And so, but they're talking again about, can you be present in this moment and be alive? And then I'm the love that you've been looking for. Come with me. Write to me. I didn't sing it right when I sing it. Write to me, write back to me, and we'll escape, right? And she couldn't very well put in a personal ad. Like that wouldn't work if you're on like a dating app, you know. Believe me, I've been on for like 4 days and I'm like, no, that's too overwhelming. I just got off. It wasn't. Anyway, you can't just put, hey, like I have this mystic relationship with God. Write me back if you have one too, because a lot of people don't even know that they have one. God is constantly in this mysterious way working in your heart, in your life. Go look on my Twitter when I talk about a physicist. Just watch that video by Malcolm Guite. It's on the cosmic Christ, and it's so cool. You just watch how he describes Aslan working in Shasta's life in the book The Horse and His Boy, and you just see God is working in your life, calling you to all of these higher truths. All right, and so he's like, I didn't think about my lady. I know that sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. You're iced off from each other, because when you disconnect from being alive, then your partner can do as well, and then the things deteriorate. You're meant to always be alive, like always. Like I'll go get it. I'll get it. I have this in my kitchen, and then I really do want to wrap this up. Oh, my legs from walking for 2 hours. Hold on. I just have this on the wall in my kitchen. I mean, I have post-it notes everywhere, but it says, "Vivere con passion." Live con, see, con queso. Live instead of confusion, fused with the lesser things in this world, fused with trying to prove your identity, or living in egotism, or running after whatever the world runs after, right? You can live with passion and passionately connect to these higher truths. And Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life, this vibrant life. And he says, you are the light of the world. And he says, I am the light of the world. So how can you be that? You are that already. Whoops, and then my light goes out again. All right, I keep stepping on the wire. Anyway, that's accounting for songs. Anyway, so I wrote in the paper to get a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, I thought it wasn't half bad. It's not half bad, because he's actually making, hey, welcome, the person is just there. He's making a poem with his actual wife, you know, his whatever, we'll call her wife. It's common law marriage in America if you've been with someone this long, right? So, because she wrote the first half. Like, the women will sometimes see spiritual things, and then the men, like, someone described women like wavy lines, and men are like straight lines. But there's so much, because they can get from point A to point B, and they're not as distracted. And but we bring in this vibrancy as well as women. And so anyway, yes, I like Piña Coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm gonna sing it because songs are worth singing, right? I'm not much into health food. I am into champagne. It's so awesome because champagne's like bubbly, like the Oasis song. Champagne supernova in the sky. Or Jesus Resurrection, that's what I was talking about. This physicist saw, that Christ's resurrection was like the singularity, the hot Big Bang, the however God first created all of creation. He brought it into creation out of nothing, making love out of nothing at all. That's it. What is Air Supply song? Oh, that's our, oh, I gotta wrap up. That's our, oh shoot. I plugged it in, but then I didn't plug the plug into the plug. I don't want to run out of battery. All right, okay, I still have some. And so that's our automatic dog feeder. So she's gonna be going, oh, look at her. Can you make it down for your feet? Okay, so she has stairs on that couch. Go over to your stairs. Or you want to come back here? Come with me. Come back here, Leia. Anyway, and so I'm not over obsessed with this. I mean, I think health food's really important, obviously, but he's not making an identity out of, oh, I have to. Back then, there weren't a lot of health food stores, and so if you're like, I'm into yoga and health food, like that's an identity you were creating. And so I'm not much into health food. I'm into champagne, you know, and so I'm into this champagne is like from Champagne, France. It's like a fancy, you're talking about fancy, like dressing up or like into having a moment. You know, we have champagne like on New Year's or something. I like celebrating moments, being in the moment, all right? I mean, this song was so popular, it was like globally popular. And that's why, because he's speaking on these universal truths that are so deep in our collective subconscious and in our longings for love to actually work, right? We want love to work. And we're so sad when it breaks down, and we always want it to be reconciled, you know? And we don't want it to go too far. Like Elliot sings that. Don't go too far. Stay who you are. Future butterfly. Gonna spend the day higher than high. Higher than just running after highs. That's what he's always talking about in all his songs. He's talking about the slow motion moves me. This song is by an artist named Elliott Smith. The monologue means nothing to me. No, I might have done a teaching on that. Can't make a sound. I think I did. I think that one was like 2 hours. Anyway, I've got to meet you tomorrow noon. Like, let's not put this off. We want to get this vibrant, real life thing happening and cut through all this red tape of like, oh, well, where are you from? And blah, blah, blah. No, we're meeting as real two souls that want to be alive and encourage one another to be alive to the highest truths and stay awake and stay conscious and know about our eternal destiny. And that, like I will say as a Christian, that Jesus died for us to reconcile us to a perfect God, to teach us this path of perfect love. And so that path of love can permeate in us. Like I was saying, St. Athanasius said, God became man so that man could become God. It's called theosis. This is meant to happen to us. A lot of people just say, oh, just say the prayer and you're saved and you go to heaven. And that's awesome. You know, there's a man, a thief on the cross next to Jesus. And he said to Jesus, he just says, he says to the other thief, can't you see we've done all these horrible things? We ought to be on this thing, you know, paying for our crimes. We've offed other people, so we're paying our crimes. This man, you can see, has not done anything because he's asking God to forgive the people that just tortured him and whipped him 39 times on his back. Like, you can just see. So he had like a quick life review, this man did. You can just tell he did. And he's just like, this is the real thing. This is God. He's like, you know, and it says King of Kings or anyway on top. And he says today, he says to Jesus, he's like, remember me when you get to your kingdom. And he says, I tell you the truth today, you're going to be with me in paradise. And so that's all the man had to do, is like, just remember me. So you just say to Jesus, remember me, you know. And there's like an Amy Grant song, I will remember you. You know, you just say, God, cleanse me from all the wickedness, all of the ways I haven't been loving. Teach me your real love and help me stay awake the rest of my life. That's the word, like I was saying, metanoia is a metamorphosis of your perception. That's the word for repentance. It's turn from wanting to eat pig food to wanting to be alive and full of love and full of vibrancy. Anyway, I'm like, Jesus gives people that. He does. And a lot of Christians don't even know this. So anyway, I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape at a bar called O'Malley's. Oh, you're seeing it backwards, but you know it says O'Malley's. You can watch it over on YouTube if you want. Where let's plan together our escape, right? And then once they see each other, they see that escape is let's learn how to actually be really present with each other and be present with our real selves and be present with the Creator and let ourselves be loved, let ourselves go into the quiet, let ourselves know intimacy. Into me see. Jesus says in the book of Revelations, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Whoever will open to me, let me in. I will come and have dinner with you, right? And there might be piña coladas with your dinner, like, of course, you know. If he comes to have dinner with you here in the States or on a tropical island, right? There might be, anyway. So I waited with high hopes, and she walked in the place. The place. This must be the place. The place is where it's at. I got 2 turntables and a microphone. Where it's at. Anyway, go watch my little reel on that. Because I got to see Beck perform that live when I was backstage with Elliot when he opened with Ben Folds 5 and Beck, for Beck in Saratoga Springs, New York. And it was like everyone was yelling that. And I just got this revelation. It was just like, it was so profound. And it was like, I don't know when it hit me then, but the understanding of it came later, I think. I'm sure it came later, but it was like we have our divine nature and our human nature. And so this is why the bishops and stuff will bless you like this and all the Orthodox icons, like of Christ. I have an icon of Christ, and you have a divine nature and a human nature, and there's God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And anyway, and so I got 2 turntables and a microphone. Like I've got my voice, my way to speak in this world, where it's at. Anyway, this must be the place. I already did that song, Somewhere Only We Know. And this song by Talking Heads, This Must Be the Place. This place is your place of home. This place that we're always longing for. In Greek and German, it's like Sehnsucht or something is the word. This longing, and it's in Portuguese, it's saudade. It's this bittersweet longing for our true home. And our home is just be aligned with love. And you can have that here on earth. You don't have to escape the earth. Like just escape your chattering mind and your egotism. And that takes a lot of work and discipline and practice. But God will walk you right through that, right? Rumi speaks a lot about it. Rumi knows it well, this place, the Sufi poet Rumi. So she walked in the place. I knew her smile in an instant, and I knew the curve of her face, right? The smile in your soul when you wake up to your real self, you'll have a knowing, right? I knew the smile of your own soul. It's just like when you recognize that you are this shiny being, you were always created with this eternal, this is the transcendent nature that's within you, that's meant to be activated as well. When Jesus says, I came to give you life and life abundantly, that's the word Zoe. And so C.S. Lewis, again, he talks about it in a book called Mere Christianity. And there was a BBC where he just said it all aloud. So there has to be a free way to get that. And I know that a guy draws it all out on YouTube for free. But anyway, I knew the curve of her face. It was my own lovely lady. And she said, "Ah, it's you." So she's just as happy to see him and go, "Oh, it's you. We both want this thing. We both found out that we want the same thing." Then we laughed for a moment and said, and I said, I never knew. I didn't know that. I wasn't quiet enough to see this alive in you because I wasn't seeing it alive in me. I thought I had to look outside. That you like piña coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. the higher life, right? If you like making love at midnight, this divine union, I just read 40 hours of videos called The Ascent of Mount Carmel. And so, not to just spiritualize this, but the union is this divine union we long for with God. And so I also did 60 hours, you can find on Spotify too, but I'm not trying to add it, like I'm not getting money from any of these things. Is not right now. I haven't done in 7 years, right? It's been more than that, I think. Anyway, so I did Evelyn Underhill's book called, that she wrote in the 1800s, so it was free copyright, Mysticism, Studying the Nature and Development of Spiritual Consciousness. But you can also see it, I read The Princess and the Goblin and The Princess and the Cardi on my YouTube channel. It's just my same name, Dr. Cheryl Meier. Anyway, so if you like making love at midnight, you're aware that you want this union, you know, and it's this dark night of your soul is midnight. It's like this darkest hour type of thing. It was always darkest before the dawn, but anyways, that's my timer to, anyway, I have to start the timer over to do more guitar, but if you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, you know, in this, where it's always new, you know, because the new waves are always changing the landscape. You're the lady I've looked for. Come with me and escape. And then it just repeats her letter and then his response. Yes, I am. And and he's like, then I'm the love that you're looking for. She's saying that, you know. No, anyway, you don't ever have to chase love, or, you know, like, especially as a woman, you can just receive it or not. And just know your worth. You don't have to explain. You know, I was in the pattern of trying to explain my worth, as you guys can probably see on this, you men and women, from my childhood, because I just felt like, you know, my dad didn't want me. But anyway, I know my Heavenly Father does, and Jesus does, and he is our bridegroom, and we are the bride of Christ. Whether you know it or not, we get the privilege of speaking these words as Christians and naming it. It's just a privilege, but it's always an honor to see how you're learning it, what God has been showing you where you are. All right, thanks for joining me. Much love. Bye, y'all.